excuse me. One of my interests as Mahdi Shaheeb Sher is America and the Afghanistan withdrawal. I think that America has had a recent Afghanistan withdrawal, and this is quite important for the world. I think it is quite important for the world. America, I think, is kind of coming to terms with this Afghanistan withdrawal. I think it's having a hard drink over it. It's kind of shocked by it, perhaps shocked by it, but coming to some kind of an awareness and understanding over it. I think that's what it's doing. I think that it is very significant. It's significant because I think President George W. Bush, made the decision as president to invade Afghanistan. And if you look at that, it's kind of perhaps more, it's kind of interesting in the way that America is conducting war in the world. It did the first Gulf War in Iraq and the second Gulf War in Iraq, and is conducting itself with war in the world. And I think that that's why the Afghanistan war is a little bit interesting, because it shows how America is conducting itself. But I think what's absolutely ridiculous about the Afghanistan war is that the Americans were there for 20 years with something like 150,000 soldiers, with $1 trillion worth of military expenditure and budget for the Afghanistan war. It kind of introduced its constitution and legislation of America for the reasons to invade Afghanistan, and it was very adamant that it was the right thing to do. And it took the Taliban just 2 months to completely force the Americans to withdraw from Afghanistan. And I think that's absolutely shocking. If you look at the ripples and ripples it's sent around the world, it's absolutely shocked the world, because America pretty much put everything into that Afghanistan war, and it committed everything with its patriotic dignity, with the loss of American soldiers and lives, with the loss of American lives. And I think for Afghanistan to show the world that it takes just 2 months to force the Americans to withdraw with all of its 150,000 soldiers, with all of its equipment, with all of its military bases, with all of its American government, with Karzai in Afghanistan, with all of its developments and infrastructure development and promises as well, and other relief efforts, for all of its promises to the people of Afghanistan, to commit all of the American dream to Afghanistan. I think they committed 20% of an American dream to Afghanistan, because they felt it was very important. But I think ultimately America was defeated in Afghanistan, and the Afghanistan war, the 20-year Afghanistan war, I think it was defeated in that 20-year Afghanistan war with the Taliban, and it took just 2 months, it took 2 months for the Taliban to destroy all of that military occupation of Afghanistan and the military effort of Afghanistan. And I think that's what America is having to deal with now. those kind of aftershocks and ripples around the world, that America has had to bow to the Taliban and has to accept defeat and admit defeat and withdraw from Afghanistan. And if you look at how they've withdrawn Afghanistan, they've just bowed to the Taliban, they've begged on their knees, and they've withdrawn. And I think that's absolutely shocking. How did the Taliban take 2 months to force America on its knees and force it to withdraw? That's quite Herculean. It's quite unheard of. I think it should be scrutinised because it's something quite remarkable. I think the fact that Taliban has defeated America, it's drawn America back to square one. It's shown that its 20-year occupation of Afghanistan has been absolutely useless. It's produced without results. And I think that that's how it's having to deal with that defeat and accept its losses. So that's my view of the Afghanistan war. Thank you very much.